Homage to Buddha Shakyamuni and Manjushri. Homage to Root Guru. The profound and subtle Dharma is rarely encountered, even in a million eons. Now we can study and follow it. May we realize the Tathagata's meaning. In order to truly liberate all sentient beings, please generate supreme bodhicitta. All right. Today, taking full advantage of this precious time, I will give everyone a brief yet comprehensive introduction to practicing Guru Yoga, focusing on its core principles and practical applications for daily life. We will practice using the Guru Yoga of Padmasambhava. Everyone should be aware that in Tibetan Vajrayana, most Guru Yoga practices, whether taught by highly accomplished masters or found in ancient scriptures, are closely connected with the practices of Padmasambhava. Therefore, in this preliminary practice class, which emphasizes the integration of theory and personal experience, originally within the uncommon preliminaries, we first take refuge, give rise to bodhicitta, and then practice Vajrasattva and mandala offerings. Then we diligently practice Guru Yoga, which is subsequently followed by the practice of Phawa, maintaining this specific and important sequence. However, for the sake of practical convenience, and in accordance with the teachings of certain revered Guru lineages, it is understood that Guru Yoga is not only a primary and central practice in spiritual cultivation, but it also fundamentally serves as an essential preliminary practice. It can be used as the main practice or as a preliminary practice. Therefore, for the sake of absolute convenience this particular time, and due to various unavoidable and complex circumstances that have arisen, we are giving everyone a brief and helpful introduction to the profound Guru Yoga of Padmasambhava in advance. At the same time, it is respectfully required that all Dharma friends with sincere faith, devotees should frequently and diligently recite the profound 7-line prayer to Guru Rinpoche and continuously chant the sacred Guru Rinpoche mantra. Those practitioners of superior spiritual faculties and deep understanding usually practice the profound Guru Yoga of Padmasambhava regularly and with great devotion. Why is this practice so critically important and highly recommended? For a dedicated practitioner who diligently cultivates both the Venerable Sutra and the powerful Tantra traditions, praying to Guru Rinpoche is indeed profoundly and exceptionally important. In this current degenerate age, whether it is the smooth and effortless accomplishment of one's own personal spiritual practice or the successful and complete fulfillment of various beneficial activities that are intended to help and uplift all sentient beings, all such great and significant undertakings are entirely inseparable from the powerful and compassionate blessings of Guru Rinpoche. So I often think that, especially for us, the fourfold assembly of Han Chinese disciples, if nowadays we can widely and effectively promote the profound teachings of Guru Rinpoche and diligently build sacred statues of Guru Rinpoche in various prominent places, and many devout devotees fervently pray to Guru Rinpoche with one unified voice. As an ordinary monk who has been diligently practicing for over 20 years, I profoundly believe that this particular situation could indeed be an inconceivable and significant cause for the flourishing and widespread of the Dharma in the future. The very first reason for this conviction is, as I have previously mentioned, our deeply revered and highly respected Guru, His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche. In 1986, he made a solemn vow to journey to the sacred Mount Wutai and diligently guide a vast number of devoted Han Chinese lay and monastic disciples. In 1987, he subsequently led more than 10,000 dedicated monks and lay people to some of the sacred mountains among the 4 great mountains in Han regions, as well as Mount Wutai, to make the vast Samantabhadra aspiration and then guide numerous lay and monastic disciples. At that time, the most important cause and condition was the construction of Guru Rinpoche statues in various monasteries. Moreover, at that time, the precious Guru personally said, if we could truly build some Guru Rinpoche statues in each and every monastery this particular time, indeed, and if the fourfold assembly of Han disciples did not reject it, then in the future, Tibetan Buddhism would blossom and bear fruit, bringing profound transformation and spiritual enrichment to many people in the Han regions. At that time, for us who lacked much experience then, such words were very unfamiliar to us. What the future would become was an unknown for everyone. But now, after more than 20 years of history, looking back with consideration, it is indeed clear that the VAJRA words spoken by the Guru back then had a most auspicious origin. Moreover, at that time, at the Bodhisattva peak on Mount Wutai, His Holiness created the most important statue of Guru Padmasambhava, representing the Five Sciences Buddhist Academy. Inside the heart of the main Guru Rinpoche statue, another smaller Guru Rinpoche statue was placed, which was said to have been truly blessed by both the revered Mifam Rinpoche and the esteemed Patrul Rinpoche. Guru Padmasambhava himself profoundly said, "It is just like me. A small, precious statue that is exactly the same as me." It seems to be a terma, though I don't remember clearly. In the record of Mount Wutai that I wrote, it seems to be explained more clearly. I only have two works in Tibetan. One is a commentary on the heart essence of noble advice, and the other is Record of Mount Wutai. So, in this current lifetime, when I first truly set my clear and focused intention, I initially thought to myself that I absolutely should write no fewer than 10 books in Tibetan. After becoming a monk in this life, I thought I should create works like this. But later, for various reasons, I didn't write much. I wrote a record of Mount Wutai, and I think I introduced it in there. At that time, His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche built it and personally consecrated it. In the near future, if any of you present here today have the chance to go to Mount Wutai, a truly sacred place, you must go to the center of Bodhisattva Peak, where there is a Guru Rinpoche Hall. Inside the revered Guru Rinpoche Hall, there stands a magnificent statue of the enlightened master Padmasambhava. It seems that the quality at that time wasn't necessarily very good. Last year, some people from Larungar voluntarily wanted to replace it with a bronze statue, but the local monastery or relevant departments weren't agreeable to it. That's what I've heard, but I'm not sure about the details. In 1991, I made a pilgrimage to Mount Wutai. At that particular time, the revered statue of Padmasambhava was still completely intact and in truly excellent, pristine condition. Based on this significant origin, that's how I perceive and understand it. Indeed, there are a remarkably great many individuals of Han Buddhism who have wholeheartedly embraced and integrated the rich traditions and practices of Tibetan Buddhism. And with Tibetan Buddhism, it's not just about simple acceptance. Many people have truly gained significant benefits from its profound teachings. The genuine and deep wisdom of the Dharma, many monastics and lay people alike have experienced its transformative power from the depths of their bones, from the bottom of their hearts. There are quite a few individuals who have developed a firm conviction in Buddhism. Within the lineage of our institute, ever since many devotees have embraced it, they have also received great benefit. Furthermore, because of this origin, some monasteries in various regions of Tibetan area, great masters, tulkus, khenpos, as well as ordinary lamas and above, have formed extraordinary connections with the fourfold assembly of Han Chinese disciples. In terms of effectively spreading the profound Dharma, this has indeed played a very significant and crucial role. Within the monasteries in the Han regions themselves, there are numerous Buddha statues specifically for worship and veneration, and such traditions are very good. However, the doctrinal teachings of Tibetan Buddhism should undoubtedly bring tremendous and lasting benefit to many devoted followers. Now, after a full 20 years have passed, this is precisely how I profoundly feel. Although this particular time, we certainly cannot claim to possess such incredibly profound causes and conditions as His Holiness, it is also true that absolutely no one would ever dare to make such an audacious claim. But as an ordinary person, in my ordinary thoughts, I think this way during the day, and the same at night. If the fourfold assembly of devoted Han Chinese disciples all pray to Guru Padmasambhava with great and unwavering faith, and at the same time in various places, including printing some sacred photos, and form positive connections in all sorts of meaningful ways, then in the future there will indeed be extremely profound karmic causes and conditions for the tremendous benefit of all sentient beings. As dedicated practitioners ourselves, when we practice Guru Yoga, in any traditional Nyingma practice with pure intention, we must consistently practice Guru Rinpoche Yoga with great devotion and mindfulness. Transform the root Guru into Guru Padmasambhava, and clearly visualize yourself vividly as VAJRA Yogini. In this way, many guidance texts say that there are extraordinary auspicious connections. Guru Yoga is truly a very powerful and profound method to allow spiritual blessings to enter your own mind. This is very important. In the degenerate age we live in, if we rely solely on theory, academic research, or superficial knowledge, it is extremely difficult to actually change the deeply rooted mental afflictions in our ordinary minds without practice. We must indeed have a special, uncommon and very profound pith instruction available so that we can immediately transform our deep afflictions, habitual tendencies, and all kinds of negative discriminations right here and now completely. The only effective method to achieve this is authentic Guru Yoga practice. Therefore, many gurus often say that before practicing any Dharma, it is best to begin with Guru Yoga. This is something we all know. In the past, Patrul Rinpoche, as well as Khenpo Ngawang Palzang and Nyosho Lungtok, were significant figures. In all of their traditions, before practicing any Dharma, one must first practice Guru Yoga. Because after you have finished visualizing the Guru's 3 places radiate light and merge into your own body. This is called the empowerment of the path. By receiving such an empowerment of the path first, all worldly obstacles and adverse conditions are dispelled during the practice. And also, your mind becomes attuned to the Dharma, and the Guru's blessings enter your mind. In all profound realizations, the spiritual guru lovingly holds you, and the guru is truly pleased. If the guru genuinely merges his profound wisdom into your often discursive thoughts, there will be some awakening right then and there. But nowadays, unfortunately, some people in academic circles are truly not like this. They insist on understanding a bit of knowledge through their own conceptual thinking. If they do not understand, they do not really acknowledge or even truly recognize blessings, the profound practices of attunement, or the significant empowerments. It has become entirely theoretical and abstract. Therefore, we must strongly emphasize the essential, vital integration of theory and pith instructions together. Moreover, whether in the Sutrayana or Tantrayana, the merit of practicing Guru Yoga is truly immense and remarkably profound always. In the words of my perfect teacher, a guidance for the preliminary practices, a citation from a tantra is quoted, "No matter who, even if one practices 100,000 yidams over countless vast eons, it is not as supreme as recalling the Guru for even an instant. Whoever in countless eons, and countless eons truly means hundreds of thousands of eons, practices 100,000 yidams during hundreds of thousands of eons, Avalokiteshvara, Manjushri, as well as the prominent Hayagriva, and so on and so forth. No matter how many yidams you may practice, even for 100,000 eons, it truly cannot compare to even a single instant. Some of us may lack concentration, but for a brief moment we should at least be able to maintain focus for 5 minutes while practicing Guru Yoga. If you practice Guru Yoga for an instant, the merit surpasses all. When convenient, please refer to the Great Chariot Commentary on Resting in the Nature of Mind, the Great Perfection. It also cites scriptural evidence about the merits of practicing Guru Yoga, also the 50 verses of Guru devotion, many scriptural sources on this topic. Therefore, we must practice Guru Yoga. It is an indispensable practice for any practitioner. And it is not just that. This time, we are practicing Guru Yoga as part of the preliminary practices. After finishing the preliminary practices, you might think, "Oh, now I'm practicing the innate purity," and that Guru Yoga is no longer truly necessary, but that's certainly not the case. In the past, through many spiritual traditions, I have met many seasoned and experienced practitioners. Spending just an hour with them, the profound benefits you gain can last for an entire year without fading away. Indeed, sometimes when one's afflictions are particularly heavy, at such times going to see a Dharma friend or an experienced practitioner who is more advanced in their practice, these people treat Guru Yoga as a lifelong practice. It's not like some common worldly practices such as Qigong, where you might only practice when your physical health isn't feeling so good, or perhaps only when you're in a particularly good mood. It's not about just playing a simple recording outside and then spontaneously dancing or engaging in a little bit of light practice. It's not like that. It's a profound and lifelong spiritual practice. Within such intricate Guru Yoga practices, each revered Guru's specific method, whether meticulously detailed in certain sacred Dharma texts or clearly outlined in some essential pith instruction manuals, each distinct tradition truly has its own ritual procedures. But if you sum them all up, they can all be ultimately traced back to Guru Padmasambhava. Why is that? Because Guru Rinpoche, as I have mentioned before, in the rich and profound context of Tibetan Buddhism, regardless of whether it's the highly revered Atisha, the greatly esteemed Je Tsongkhapa, the widely respected Sakya Pandita, or other equally great and influential masters from various distinct schools, they are all emanations of Guru Padmasambhava. This is not just something that ordinary people in the world say. There is actually reliable and definitive scriptural evidence to support this. Therefore, as long as we recall and practice Guru Rinpoche, we are actually also practicing all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. Some masters' teachings say this: we must not regard the revered Padmasambhava as merely an ordinary person. It seems that nowadays, some individuals, I've mentioned this before in some of my debate books, seem to view him as just a yogi who made significant contributions to the land of Tibetan area. Some people indeed see Padmasambhava in this particular way. This is completely and utterly wrong. In fact, it can truly and profoundly be said that he is no different from the enlightened Buddha. Some ancient historical texts clearly state that Padmasambhava is the sacred emanation of all the Buddhas of the 3 times in this incredibly fortunate aeon. He is the manifestation of all Buddhas of the past, present and future in this fortunate aeon. Moreover, whenever any Buddha propagated Vajrayana, they all did so in the form of the Sambhogakaya Padmasambhava. For example, at that particular time, even the revered Shakyamuni Buddha himself, in his profound wisdom, manifested as the glorious Lord of Kalachakra to specifically teach the intricate Kalachakra Tantra, for example. There are such accounts as well. So this is not simply just a claim made in Tibetan Buddhism tradition alone whatsoever. In fact, if we look at the sutras of the exoteric tradition, the prophecies about Padmasambhava are remarkably clear and explicit throughout these texts, without any doubt. I have previously also cited the Nirvana Sutra and the Sutra of the Prophecies of the Future Buddhas as well for reference. When we studied the Bodhikaravatara, I also quoted this same scriptural evidence for everyone to understand. Also, in the profound and revered Immaculate Name Goddess Sutra, it is explicitly mentioned as well. The boundless and diverse activities of all Buddhas, spanning across the 10 directions and throughout the 3 times, are harmoniously unified into one singular, all-encompassing form. A most supreme and truly rare bodhisattva is born in the magnificent northwest of Odhyana, a sacred and ancient land. So here it is just the same as described in the 7-line prayer. The activities of all Buddhas of the 10 directions and 3 times manifest as the form of the Holy Master. This form is indeed that of a truly most rare and exceptional bodhisattva. King Indrabhuti of Odhyana had already encountered him when he went to the great vast ocean. At that time, he was miraculously born within a lotus blossom in the northwest region of Odhyana, a truly sacred place. This is stated in the exoteric scriptures, not in the tantric ones. In the tantric texts, there are indeed many important and highly comprehensive detailed authentic accounts of Guru Rinpoche's remarkable life, carefully faithfully recorded throughout the entire span of documented Buddhist history. However, some people with particularly strong exoteric tendencies may not necessarily accept them easily or readily. Furthermore, the Inconceivable Secret Sutra, which is also clearly an authentic and authoritative exoteric scripture from ancient times, mentions this as well very explicitly. The Buddhas of the 3 times in the fortunate aeon, wondrous magical emanations in the rare lotus blossom, they appear as Vidyadharas. This is exceedingly clear. All the enlightened Buddhas of the fortunate aeon, their truly wondrous and magnificent magical bodies, this profound magical emanated body manifests as a powerful Vidyadhara in the rare and beautiful lotus blossom. The Vidyadhara form, without a doubt, refers to Guru Padmasambhava. So, regarding these prophecies, I think anyone who is relatively fair-minded and wise after reading them, one cannot help but feel a sense of joy and develop faith. So this is not something that can be explained by relying on just one scriptural reference. In fact, we can judge from Guru Rinpoche's remarkable and profound activities whether he is truly an emanation of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas without question. If Back then, the renowned King Trisong Detsen of ancient Tibetan area and the wise Bodhisattva Acharya had not invited Guru Padmasambhava from Odhyana, then, in Tibetan area, a land so utterly overrun by malevolent and pervasive spirits, it would have been very difficult indeed for such a truly sublime Dharma to genuinely flourish and widely spread. But because the revered Guru Rinpoche came to Tibetan area at that crucial time, he successfully subdued the 12 local earth goddesses and the 21 upasakas, who then solemnly vowed to forever protect the precious, wish-fulfilling jewel of the Dharma in Tibetan area. And they themselves also diligently practiced the profound Vajrayana teachings. Guru Padmasambhava, a revered master, meticulously built various sacred temples throughout the land of Tibetan area, each imbued with extraordinary auspicious connections. He successfully subdued all kinds of malevolent obstacles and formidable demons, and tirelessly propagated the essential and profound teachings of both the Sutra and Tantra vehicles. Up to this very day, unlike any other place in the world, the entire population here remains deeply religious and devout. Even many devoted followers from both within and outside the country, when they come to this sacred and pure land of Tibetan area, can truly say that, for a very long time, their unwavering faith in the Guru and the Three Jewels never wavers or diminishes. Renunciation, the profound aspiration of bodhicitta, and the direct realization of the true nature of mind arise quite naturally. The fundamental reason for this is definitely due to the auspicious and profound connections of this blessed place. It is said in the biography of Guru Rinpoche that in front of the king and some of his attendants, he stayed only for a very short period of time at that particular moment. Some scholars have asked why this was the case. Since Guru Padmasambhava had already stayed in Tibetan area for such a long time, some historical records clearly indicate that his time spent in Tibet was actually quite short. Later, some revered Tertans and truly wise masters explained and elaborated upon these accounts. Guru Padmasambhava had indeed set foot on virtually every sacred mountain and every significant place throughout the vast land of Tibetan area, and had also hidden countless precious terma. So, if we even slightly begin to understand the profound significance of these terma treasures, I think we can't help but develop faith in the transmission of Vajrayana teachings. Sometimes, when I see some truly precious terma treasures, a single tertan may have over 100 or more than 30 profoundly revealed texts. All of them are expressions that arise from wisdom. They are not at all like the works of any modern writer, who rack their brains over every word. It's not like that at all. They are all manifestations of wisdom. Moreover, the rituals and tantras composed by these masters were all originally concealed by Guru Padmasambhava. That is why there are so many of these extraordinary and profound teachings found within the ancient land of Tibetan area. Because of such teachings, nowadays so many people, why do they have such profound faith in Tibetan Buddhism and what draws them to it? Some people who don't understand may wonder, why do they believe in Tibetan Buddhism like this? Is it a kind of confusion, a sort of inexplicable delusion? Actually, it's not. People today are very clear-minded and discerning. Wherever there is authentic and genuine Dharma, they will diligently seek it out and find it. Some people may be blind followers, following blindly. There may indeed be some individuals who pursue it blindly. Such cases certainly do exist. But with so many intellectuals and seekers of liberation, if they were all blind followers, that would be impossible. So, on one hand, Tibetan Buddhism truly possesses a unique and extraordinary blessing power. On the other hand, whether it's terma teachings or tantras, the profound lineage practices, intricate rituals, as well as numerous profound pith instructions and invaluable teachings, all possess some truly unique and distinctive characteristics. Although the revered Guru Padmasambhava may have indeed appeared before sentient beings for a significant period, he did not remain for an extended duration, especially within the sacred land of Tibetan area, leaving a profound yet somewhat fleeting impression. Historically, he stayed in India for over 2,000 years, manifesting for more than 2,000 years, after attaining the Vidyadhara fruition, but in Tibetan area, the time he spent was not long. However, the precise length of time he stayed depended upon the individual capacities and unique circumstances of each and every sentient being. For example, when the Buddha miraculously manifested his profound powers in ancient India to teach the 6 non-Buddhist teachers, according to historical records and ancient texts, he appeared before Mahayana practitioners for an extended period, specifically as long as 15 days. During the auspicious month of miracles, the entire waxing half of the month, as described in the Sutra of Wise and Foolish, it lasted for 15 days. However, in front of the Hinayana practitioners, it was observed as only a single day. From their perspective, the Buddha's activity of subduing the 6 teachers lasted just 1 day. There are such accounts as well. Furthermore, regarding the Buddha's 3 turnings of the Dharma wheel, for those following the common vehicles, there were only 3 turnings of the Dharma wheel. But for those of the uncommon vehicles, the Buddha also taught the Avatamsaka Sutra and the Lotus Sutra, as well as tantric texts such as the Kalachakra Tantra and the Guhyasamaja Tantra, as well as the essential teachings of the inner Tantra. So, at times we tend to rely entirely upon our own conceptual distinctions. Nowadays, many contemporary archaeologists frequently use their own extensive writings or telescopes, diligently trying to find a precise and reliable text. But this is exceptionally difficult. This includes even the exact date of Shakyamuni Buddha's parinirvana. There have been numerous profound debates and controversies about this particular topic throughout the annals of recorded history. But for us ordinary people, it is indeed quite difficult to obtain an absolutely accurate figure in this regard. I have mentioned before that at that time, the respected Venerable Kashyapa was preparing to expel the great Manjushri Bodhisattva from the assembly. During this sacred summer retreat, Manjushri Bodhisattva went to the palace of King Prasenajit's consort and did not properly observe the sacred precepts. At that significant and crucial time, Venerable Kashyapa was especially angry and gathered all the monks together in a solemn assembly. He then struck the wooden mallet with a resounding sound to notify all the assembled monks that Manjushri Bodhisattva was to be expelled from their community. At that very moment, Manjushri Bodhisattva miraculously manifested countless forms and emanations, demonstrating his profound power and spiritual attainment. And the entire vast 10 directions of the world all transformed into truly magnificent Buddha lands. In each Buddha land, there were numerous Buddhas, and in front of each Buddha, there was a Manjushri Bodhisattva. With each Manjushri Bodhisattva, there was a Venerable Kashyapa holding a wooden mallet. At that time, the Buddha asked, "Now, which one are you planning to expel?" Venerable Kashyapa looked in every direction, east, south, west, and north. Everywhere he looked, there were Buddhas. Everywhere, there were Manjushri Bodhisattvas. Everywhere, there was himself, Venerable Kashyapa. At that moment, he was in great difficulty. He felt that the state of the sages was truly inconceivable. He immediately wanted to put down the wooden mallet, but he couldn't move it at all. He simply couldn't do it. In the end, having no other choice, he confessed and repented before Manjushri Bodhisattva. Only after repenting was he able to put it down, and the external visions disappeared. Therefore, it is said in the related scriptures that even Venerable Kashyapa, who had already eradicated all afflictions and attained boundless supernatural powers, could not fully comprehend the mind streams of other sentient beings. How much less could the ordinary eyes of ordinary people do so? If we truly try to determine which historical era Guru Padmasambhava genuinely belonged to, or which of his many names is real and which is merely false, or which of his physical forms is genuine and which is not, then we are completely relying on the perspective of our own conceptual discriminations to comprehend and judge the inconceivable manifestations of enlightened beings. Therefore, in such challenging and extraordinary circumstances, we must cultivate and possess an unwavering and extraordinary faith in the Supreme Buddha and the revered Guru Padmasambhava, whose wisdom and compassion are boundless and all-encompassing. Of course, this kind of faith can also be examined by looking at the Dujam history of Buddhism and other Buddhist histories, which describe how Guru Padmasambhava, in the form of an ordinary person, came to Tibetan area and also went to Mount Wutai, and the accounts of how he benefited sentient beings in various worlds, which can all serve as explanations. I have mentioned this fact before, that in the earliest times, the great biography of Guru Padmasambhava was truly a household name throughout all of Tibetan area. Literally every family had at least a copy of the sacred Tibetan text. People regarded it as a wish-fulfilling jewel, just like the Diamond Sutra in Han Chinese regions. Every household held deep reverence for this biography. In it, it describes how many years Guru Rinpoche spent in India, what he experienced in the charnel grounds, and how he eventually retreated into caves, how he practiced ascetic discipline, benefited sentient beings, and turned the wheel of Dharma. Historical accounts included. For ordinary people, he could manifest in ordinary forms to gently guide them, offering his wisdom and assistance. And these stories can also be explained through history. However, if we insist on taking only this perspective, it is indeed difficult. This is not only certainly true for Guru Padmasambhava, but for virtually all great masters and accomplished beings throughout history. Their emanation bodies are absolutely truly inconceivable beyond our ordinary understanding. For example, some Indian saints appeared to pass away in India, but later manifested in Tibetan area. After manifesting parinirvana in Tibetan area, they continued to spread the Dharma in Han region. For example, figures like Thangtong Gyalpo, Padmasambhava, and many other great masters and eminent monks, the forms of their miraculous manifestations were indeed different. Therefore, whether we are dealing with ordinary people or with some gurus or the actions of accomplished beings, we should not rely solely on our own eyes to immediately speculate or slander them rashly and without proper consideration. This is also not very reasonable in any given situation. So today, I also want to very briefly talk to everyone about the most important practice methods of Guru Padmasambhava. Specifically, I hope you can refer to some of the extremely valuable teachings related to traditional Guru Yoga very completely, thoroughly, and systematically. I think that when many Dharma friends practice, it's essential to have a sense of genuine, sincere devotion and heartfelt respect. Every time we always practice Guru Yoga, we should visualize Guru Padmasambhava in front of us. Whoever has the greatest respect and the strongest, most profound faith in him, then the blessings and spiritual connection you receive within your own mind stream will indeed be the greatest. This is a kind of dependent origination. If, when we practice Guru Yoga, our minds are distracted and careless, then the blessings may not come so quickly or as abundantly. In short, when we practice Guru Yoga, especially with Guru Padmasambhava, it is indeed very important, profoundly significant in this current, increasingly degenerate age. Perhaps many of the esteemed resident Dharma friends gathered here today will vividly remember that His Holiness, the wish-fulfilling jewel, a revered spiritual leader, once thoughtfully quoted a profound teaching from the venerable previous Katok Doda, a highly respected master. When the 5 degenerations truly flourish and darkness profoundly deepens, the luminous moon of Guru Rinpoche's blessings shines ever more brightly. The radiant moon of Padmasambhava's profound blessings grows increasingly and wonderfully radiant. Generally speaking, we all universally know and acknowledge that the 5 degenerations unfortunately worsen year by year, and this trend continues without abatement. Sentient beings' faculties become more and more inferior, and trivial matters increase. Discursive thoughts become heavier, and greed, anger, and ignorance grow ever deeper. But at such times, when sentient beings become increasingly difficult to liberate, the blessings of Padmasambhava are just like how the soft, ethereal moonlight becomes more strikingly apparent and beautifully visible in the deep, profound, pitch-black night. His blessings become more and more remarkably swift, right? Exactly just as we have mentioned earlier, the great master Karma Wangpo also said very clearly in his teachings, if one sincerely and truly prays to Padmasambhava and is not swayed by adverse or challenging conditions, this is an important matter. As practitioners in the degenerate age, this is the case. The harm caused by external evil spirits, heretical paths, and non-human entities is extremely rampant. Therefore, at every moment, we must earnestly pray to such a being, the embodiment of both wrathful and peaceful deities, the subduer of all evil spirits and all heretical forces. When the name of Padmasambhava is mentioned, it evokes a profound sense of spiritual power. Many non-human beings and various demons and ghosts are truly terrified. Indeed, this is also clearly mentioned in the pith instructions of many accomplished masters. So, I often find myself contemplating this. Throughout history, especially among the truly accomplished masters who appeared in Tibetan area, generally speaking, most of them diligently practiced Padmasambhava. We can also see this from their writings. For example, in the works of Venerable Longchenpa, Jetsongkhapa, and Mipham Rinpoche, we can also find this clearly documented in their writings and biographies. We can see exactly what kind of profound faith they had in praying to Padmasambhava, including our own beloved and revered Guru, His Holiness Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche, whether it was the sacred luminous dreams or mystical journeys to pure lands, or even in some of the experiences during the day, the faith in Guru Rinpoche and the blessings received are truly inconceivable. Therefore, I often think that in this degenerate age, many people wish in their hearts to become good practitioners, but sometimes their body and mind are not at ease, swayed by demons and evil spirits. And when they are truly and utterly powerless, in the final very end, they can only follow the insidious, malevolent demons. So, in order to dispel these adverse conditions, even just having an image of Guru Padmasambhava on your person should help eliminate all obstacles. A few years ago, I also gave each Dharma friend an image of Guru Rinpoche. You see now, many people are always constantly checking to see if they've lost it or not, and it's just always like this without exception. There truly are many very extraordinary connections here in this regard that are quite remarkable. As for myself, since early childhood, I have had an exceptional faith in Guru Padmasambhava. But I'm certainly not saying here that I have practiced particularly well. That's not what I mean. But I truly think, for any profound Dharma teaching, as someone who transmits it and shares its wisdom, if I haven't had any personal experience or response and still pass it on to you, not be good. Every time, I personally feel that whether it's the sacred practices I did as a young child many years ago, or the practices I did after becoming a monk in the monastery, when I have already gained truly great benefit from a particular practice, I think to myself, since I have personally received inconceivable blessings from this practice, therefore I genuinely believe that for people who share the same profound karmic connection as I do, sharing this experience will undoubtedly be highly beneficial. So back when I couldn't even read at all, many of Guru Rinpoche's profound supplications and eloquent eulogies, drawn from his extensive biographies, were frequently recited by some lamas and other literate people next door, and just by attentively hearing their chanting, I was able to effortlessly memorize them. Later I found a small, intricately detailed statue of Guru Rinpoche, and a relative of ours, Yundeng Sangpo, kindly gave me a comprehensive biography of Guru Rinpoche. It was a rather concise biography of Guru Rinpoche by the Tibetan master, the VAJRA warrior of the Dharma Dhatu. It was a brief biography of Guru Rinpoche. I was extremely delighted. Every day, while herding cattle and high up in the mountains among the verdant trees, I would recite it aloud. At that time, I could basically recognize and comprehend Tibetan script quite well. Every day I would recite it. At the very beginning, I just kept reciting it. At that time, I was very, very young, primarily because I hadn't started school yet. I wasn't even 10 years old at that point. Anyway, I don't remember exactly which specific year it was. Back then, perhaps because the conditions were rather poor, I didn't even wash my hands. The entire book became black, and the pages I turned were all thoroughly blackened. Some parts were even worn through. In the end, I could recite it all from memory, reciting as I herded cattle. Now, whenever I journey to Luhuo County, sometimes when I gaze upon the majestic mountaintop from a considerable distance, the vivid scenes from that significant time just come rushing back with remarkable clarity to my mind. I truly did have faith in Guru Rinpoche. Later on, although I can't claim to have achieved great accomplishments, it was indeed through the blessings of Guru Rinpoche and the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas that I relied on. In my own practice, I never encountered any major obstacles. Moreover, many of the nearby lamas, monastics, and even some lay people, they especially loved to recite the mantra of Guru Padmasambhava. My father was illiterate. He couldn't read a single word. But every day he would faithfully recite the mantra of Guru Padmasambhava. I remember that right up until his death, he recited it continuously, every single day. I recall that every year he would recite it 1,000,000 times. Sometimes, if he hadn't finished, he'd say, "Oh, I'm still short by this much this year." When we were young, we would often ask, "How many times are you short this year?" We kept asking him like this, counting his prayer beads. So, in Tibetan area, this isn't something only accomplished practitioners do. Rather, it is a deeply ingrained spiritual practice that every household diligently recites. I remember in the brief record of rainbow body attainment in Vajrayana, a few examples were mentioned. One of the most remarkable stories was told to me by Lama Gyattrul. There was a devout person in Shiku County who diligently recited Guru Rinpoche's mantra, about 100 million times, I believe. In the end, he miraculously passed away in a rainbow body. And later, I heard that in Daofu County there was another equally devoted person. At that time he was preparing to go to India, but on the way he encountered bandits. He used something, perhaps a makeshift object, to fight back and ended up killing the bandit. After killing him, he felt deep regret in his heart. Then he went into a cave and began to diligently practice Guru Rinpoche's mantra. Some say he later recited it 700 million times, while others say 1.3 billion times. Eventually, he also attained realization. There are indeed quite a few such cases of accomplishment. Therefore, this time we are also according to the requirements of the words of my perfect teacher. The lineage disciples of Jigme Lingpa and Patrul Rinpoche are all required to recite the Guru Rinpoche mantra 10 million times. You can refer to the text of the words of my perfect teacher. It should be 10 million recitations. However, for us, reciting 10 million times is a difficult endeavor. If you can, at the very least, recite 100,000 times, or see if you can reach 1 million recitations during the retreat. I truly think that using this kind of mantra for spiritual protection is indeed very important. Some people may say that just a bit of theory and meditation is quite enough, and they don't pay much attention to mantra recitation, or perhaps they even think it's entirely unnecessary. But actually that's not the case. I distinctly recall the profound words of the Buddha as recorded in the revered Shurangama Sutra, where he clearly stated, "If one does not diligently uphold and continuously recite sacred mantras while engaged in the practice of sitting meditation, it is utterly impossible for one's physical body and one's mental state to truly be free from influences of various demonic forces and obstacles." It means that if you don't recite mantras while staying in a holy sacred Buddhist monastery, then it's impossible for your body and mind to be completely free from negative demonic influences in this very degenerate age, because the power of demons is indeed very strong and extremely dangerous. That's why those of us who faithfully and regularly recite mantras and practice will not be disturbed by any demonic beings. The Sutra of Radiance also clearly and truly says, "Even the enlightened great bodhisattvas at the highest 10th stage still rely on mantras for divine protection, let alone mere ordinary people like us." I remember this very clearly indeed, quite. If even bodhisattvas at the 10th stage need to recite mantras for protection, then for us ordinary people, it's even more necessary and important. Therefore, I sincerely hope everyone will regularly recite some powerful mantras. Of course, Guru Rinpoche's sacred mantra is one excellent example. In the near future, I will also translate a relatively short one for everyone, very carefully. It should be a terma, a revealed treasure teaching from the great Terton Karma Lingpa. After some time, I will translate it for everyone to fully understand. In short, Omahung truly represents the sacred body, speech and mind of all the Buddhas of the 3 times. Then, Benza Guru Pema Siddhi, each of these significant words precisely corresponds to a specific aspect. For example, Benza clearly refers to the powerful VAJRA family, Guru to the precious Ratna family, Pema to the beautiful Padma family, and Siddhi to the activity family. The Ratna family, the Karma family, and also the Buddha family of perfect accomplishment. These are the seed syllables of the 5 Buddha families. By relying on this profound mantra, one can effectively dispel the 5 kinds of obstacles and ultimately accomplish the 5 types of wisdom. Moreover, all sentient beings who see, hear, or remember it can attain the state of Vidyadhara, the holder of awareness. Even if Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra is carved onto a stone, whoever sees it will be reborn in the pure land of great bliss. If it is written down, anyone who sees it can also be reborn in the pure land of great bliss. Therefore, in the biography of Guru Rinpoche, it specifically talks about some of the immense and significant merits of Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra. Indeed, these spiritual merits are quite numerous and truly remarkable. Whether devoted lay practitioners or dedicated monastics in Han region, if everyone had the profound tradition of diligently reciting Guru Rinpoche's sacred heart mantra from a very young age, I truly think that in the future, on one hand, it would greatly and significantly benefit the enduring long-term presence of the Dharma in the world, and at the same time, for each individual's personal spiritual practice, there should be a truly great and very special blessing power to effectively dispel all adverse conditions. In the city of Chengdu, I personally observed some young elementary school students from a local children's scripture class, and they recited Guru Rinpoche's sacred heart mantra with deep reverence and sang it with exceptional skill and heartfelt devotion. So I truly feel that if one has the opportunity to grow up in such a spiritually enriching environment from a very young age, there are indeed immense benefits and profound merits. Therefore, I sincerely hope that we can all make a conscious effort to recite Guru Rinpoche's powerful heart mantra more frequently and consistently. Before reciting the heart mantra, it is best to first recite the 7-line prayer. I won't elaborate extensively on the merits of the 7-line prayer here, because I have just recently translated its profound merits myself. I am deeply moved by this. After watching and understanding its significance, I keep reciting it every single day. Anyway, when you have time, I have to read because I feel that this blessing and merit is so great, and the 7-line prayer was not said by Guru Rinpoche. It is the natural, deeply profound VAJRA sound that is emitted simultaneously by all the blessed enlightened Buddhas in the 10 directions. Not only is the 7-line prayer a supplication to Guru Rinpoche, but it is also the supplication of all the Buddhas and holy beings in the 10 directions, including Dakinis and Dharma protectors. It is the supplication of all the holy beings. If we rely on these VAJRA words to bless our own mind streams, it is indeed extremely extraordinary. I also hope that this time, the profound Dharma treasure chest distributed to the Dharma friends at the Institute, as well as the audience in front of their TVs and those watching on their computers, will be of great benefit and profound significance to all who receive and engage with it, fostering spiritual growth and understanding. When the conditions are just right, it can also be readily distributed to everyone. After you read it, the merits of the 7-line prayer, the outer, inner, secret, and most secret practices, these may be extremely profound, and perhaps many people may not necessarily understand them. But in the section on outer practice, there are many scriptural sources from Dharma treasures. After reading these scriptural sources, you may initially think, oh, on the surface there are only a mere 7 lines, but in reality, its inherent merit is truly no different from a precious, wish-fulfilling jewel. There is a particular story here, but it's a bit different from other historical accounts in our historical records. At that time, many distinguished panditas at the renowned Nalanda monastery faced attacks from very hostile non-Buddhists. Buddhists and non-Buddhists debated with each other according to strict tradition. Whoever lost would have to take refuge in the other side. That was indeed how they debated back then typically. At that time, many learned panditas were not very afraid to debate them on complex doctrine and philosophy, but when it came to displays of supernatural miraculous powers, they were a bit worried and concerned. At that time, some detailed historical accounts say quite clearly, all the revered panditas had the very same dream at night. Some say that a powerful Dakini appeared and told them, "You absolutely don't need to worry at all. If you pray to my elder brother, he possesses this remarkable ability." The panditas asked, "Where is your elder brother?" She said, "He is in a charnel ground at a certain actively erupting volcano." They said, "But if we go to seek him, we have absolutely no conceivable way to get there. That charnel ground is a truly remote place ordinary people simply cannot possibly reach." Later, the Dakini said, "On the upper floor of your temple, specifically above the main assembly hall, if you use musical instruments and offer exquisite fragrances, and devoutly recite the sacred 7-line prayer with melodious and truly pleasant sounds, then the revered Guru Padmasambhava will miraculously appear before you." After the wise and diligent panditas meticulously followed these sacred instructions, indeed, the magnificent Guru Padmasambhava appeared directly before them, fulfilling the prophecy. Then he confronted those non-Buddhists. First, he debated with them using the profound Buddhist doctrine, and all of the non-Buddhists were completely convinced by his compelling arguments. Later, those very same non-Buddhists began to effortlessly fly in the sky and displayed all sorts of truly miraculous and astonishing powers, competing with each other in spectacular supernatural feats. At that time, Guru Padmasambhava pointed once with the sacred powerful mudra of subjugation, and all those arrogant non-Buddhists fell to the ground one after another completely immediately. They all apologized to him humbly and took refuge in Buddhism without any hesitation. From then on, all Buddhists in India were officially required to recite the 7-line prayer. In Tibetan area, ever since the time of the great revered Guru Padmasambhava, now it is also found in many monasteries of the Gelugpa and Sakya sects. Many Vina masters, no matter when you always recite a specific ritual or even any sacred scripture, Hongojianyegi Nuxiang Chan, Ba Magasadong Pola. I'm sorry, I didn't recite it well. Guru Padmasambhava's 7-line prayer, in Tibetan area you could say, is highly valued in many monasteries when reciting rituals. Fellow practitioners here, after you fully understand the merit of this now, in your future spiritual practice, no matter what profound Dharma you are diligently cultivating, at the very beginning you should invite Guru Padmasambhava. Guru Padmasambhava, as mentioned in many Dharma teachings, if anyone recites the 7-line prayer, it is akin to the deeply moving and universal experience of a loving mother who has a cherished child. Just as a child in moments of need or longing instinctively cries out and calls for their mother by her beloved name, so too does the prayer evoke a powerful and immediate connection, drawing forth a compassionate response. The loving mother simply cannot help but come to the child's side, offering comfort and support. Anyone who has faith and prays with heartfelt devotion, calling out earnestly with the 7-line prayer, Guru Rinpoche will always definitely appear immediately. If he does not come, he would be breaking his vow. So some Dharma friends here sigh, people like me, practitioners with deep afflictions, recite the 7-line prayer once and think, how could such a great being as Guru Rinpoche come before me? Impossible, impossible, forget it, there's no need to recite. You must never think this way. The sacred master and your own profound faith must be completely and harmoniously united. Furthermore, the esteemed Mipham Rinpoche also explicitly stated in his profound work, The Great Illusory Net, that in the ultimate truth, whether it's the sacred master, the mantra, the recitation, or the words, they are all completely inseparably equal in the great primordial emptiness, free from all elaboration, without any conceptual distinction or duality whatsoever. But in the realm of pure appearance that manifests, the mantra we recite and the yidam are completely united as one indivisible whole. The heart mantra of Guru Padmasambhava truly is Guru Padmasambhava himself, in essence. Whoever recites it with pure and genuine faith from the heart, Guru Rinpoche will manifest immediately without any delay. That's why many biographies say, when Guru Padmasambhava was about to go to the land of the Rakshasas, many ministers and some practitioners in Tibetan area wept and begged him not to leave the Tibetan people. Guru Padmasambhava also replied in a most definitive way, whoever has unwavering faith, I, Guru Rinpoche, have never truly left even for a single moment. This is exactly the same as when we pray to the Buddhas. However, it absolutely requires that our unwavering faith becomes progressively stronger and stronger. Then the profound blessings of the Yidam, Guru Rinpoche, and the Guru will become more and more powerful and swift. Just now, some people were looking for words. How exactly did that whole thing go? Was it truly okay? So our unwavering faith and our heartfelt expression still play the most profoundly important and significant role. Sometimes when we truly pray, indeed deep within our hearts, we feel a connection. A truly genuine and uncontrived faith will naturally and spontaneously arise. When we pray with such an attitude and a mindset as this, the blessings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will surely descend. Of course, even if we pray in a somewhat distracted or less focused manner, the blessings that stem from our sincere prayers will absolutely not be wasted or diminished. These divine blessings will most certainly come to fruition, and we will undoubtedly and assuredly receive them. Therefore, here I truly, earnestly ask everyone to be completely sure to continuously, always, constantly, faithfully recite the powerful sacred mantra of great Guru Padmasambhava with genuine, sincere devotion, regularly and consistently, with unwavering, strong determination. As for the specific method of recitation, I highly recommend the profound Guru Yoga practice from The Path of Liberation Unveiled. I used to think as well, the wording is so simple, yet all the profound practices are completely and perfectly contained within it. This is truly rare and precious. Begin with taking refuge and generating bodhicitta, then recite this in the middle part of your practice, and conclude with a dedication of merit. While reciting, visualize yourself as VAJRA yogini with Guru Padmasambhava, the Buddha Father and Mother, in front of you. Through fervent supplication, his blessings enter our hearts. Then, after praying with the 7-line prayer, begin reciting Guru Rinpoche's heart mantra, and after chanting it a certain number of times, finally, the Guru's 3 sacred places emit 3 distinct kinds of brilliant light, which then merge completely into your very own body. You have now received the empowerment and blessings of the Guru's body, speech, and mind. In the end, the Guru also dissolves into a single sphere of light, merging back into your own heart. Then your own heart becomes inseparable from the wisdom and ultimate sphere of light, merging into one. This is the method of visualization and meditation. In the past, there was a master named Dodrupchen Rinpoche, Dampa Nima. He had a special Guru Yoga practice, a method of practice that is inseparable from Guru Rinpoche. Within it, many key instructions are explained. If there is sufficient time, I would also like to briefly share some of these important and insightful points with everyone. In short, I personally also very much hope that many of us gathered here today, specifically those who serve as monastics, will truly embrace and benefit from these teachings. You have seen through worldly life and come here for long-term study and practice, which is truly not easy. And for lay practitioners as well, they often face many significant hardships and considerable difficulties. To set all of these aside and wholeheartedly devote oneself to studying Buddhism is especially difficult. Sometimes, when I see many Dharma friends in the Bodhi society facing many family and work-related problems, and even during the very process of doing volunteer work, there are also numerous and significant difficulties, but everyone bravely faces them all and is determined to diligently practice. However, how long can such practice be maintained? Perhaps neither oneself nor others can say for sure. Now, in this degenerate age, external distractions and temptations are especially strong, while the strength of our own minds is extremely weak. We must definitely rely on some kind of support. We need to rely on the powerful backing of the Guru, the Yidam, and the Dharma protectors. So I think whether it's relying on Guru Rinpoche's mantra, or the 7-line prayer, or practicing Guru Yoga, many people's practice will have a truly good beginning and a good end, ultimately reaching perfect completion. This is the greatest achievement we can attain in our lifetime. Personally, in this life, I never think about when I will eventually die, or when I might potentially gain a truly bad reputation. I truly don't worry about these things at all. But I do hope that my practice and my resolve on the path never diminish. Whatever I have now, even if it's just a tiny bit of bodhicitta, my unwavering faith in the revered Guru and the sacred 3 jewels grows ever stronger day by day. May the positive qualities and profound realizations I didn't previously possess quickly and suddenly arise within my mind stream. And may all sentient beings who have a connection with me, not just in words, but truly receive even the smallest benefit. This is exactly what we deeply long for and aspire to in our precious daily lives with great intense yearning. If I open up my heart and my entire whole being completely and honestly, what I truly think about most often deep inside my heart and mind day and night is, in this relatively brief human life, it is important to rely on the profound Dharma to truly benefit some sentient beings. This is precisely what, as a dedicated practitioner, one should strive for. It is just like a shrewd businessman who desires to make a substantial amount of money. We, on the other hand, merely wish to gain a modest benefit. But if we do not fully understand the proper methods for achieving this benefit, even if our initial aspirations are good, sometimes we can never reach that ultimate goal. In this degenerate and challenging age, adverse conditions are extremely numerous and pervasive. So, in order to effectively overcome all these significant obstacles, one's own mind stream must truly and profoundly receive the abundant blessings of all the enlightened Buddhas, the compassionate Bodhisattvas, and the supreme VAJRA Guru. If one's mind is of the highest caliber, one attains enlightenment in this very moment. For those of middling capacity, they maintain unwavering faith in the Guru and the 3 jewels and gain some realization of the Buddhist teachings. For those individuals of lesser capacity, it truly means diligently practicing ordinarily in this present life, living as a dedicated lay follower who sincerely takes refuge in the profound 3 jewels, or as a committed monastic, and gracefully passing through life smoothly, completely, and with deep understanding. This also involves establishing a very special and meaningful connection for the next life. This is indeed the ultimate purpose I have firmly in mind. This time too, I'm just speaking without any particular order, rambling on casually. I simply say whatever comes to mind. In my heart, I always feel that, in this degenerate age, it is indeed very important to pray to Guru Rinpoche and to diligently recite his sacred heart mantra, if, during this relatively brief 100 days of dedicated practice, if we are truly able to recite Guru Rinpoche's mantra very well, for each and every one of us, it is truly a most rare and extremely precious opportunity in our entire lifetime. So I sincerely hope that everyone will make a determined and significant effort to achieve this goal.
Padmasambhava